The Chinese Communist Party (CCP) has invested billions in building a powerful navy, but its efforts are now under global scrutiny. U.S. intelligence has fully exposed China's Type 093 nuclear-powered attack submarine, revealing critical details, including its unique acoustic signature, which now serves as an underwater fingerprint for tracking. At the same time, China's military-industrial system is facing internal turmoil. In one case, a senior scientist compromised national security by leaking classified information on laser transmission, electromagnetic catapults, and stealth materials, just for the sake of paying off a 1,000 yuan $137 gambling debt. The CCP has poured the people's hard-earned money into these projects, only to end up with piles of scrap metal and a government in growing turmoil. On November 1, 2024, a Pentagon intelligence officer sent China a report containing images captured by U.S. high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft. These images show the Type 093417 submarine being towed back to the Liugong Island submarine base. After analyzing the images, China's general staff discovered that the U.S. had captured footage of water displacement patterns and the tow routes from 4 different angles. Although the submarine remained mostly submerged, preventing clear photos, U.S. military analysts used the trajectory of the tow ship, the timing, and the angles at which the submarine surfaced to calculate its exact movement. AI technology was then used to generate high-resolution images. Despite the submarine's counter-surveillance measures, U.S. military AI successfully analyzed its tonnage, displacement, missile carrying capacity, and nuclear propulsion performance. Most critically, the submarine's acoustic signature was fully recorded and added to U.S. military databases. For the U.S., this effectively renders the entire Type 093 series obsolete. No matter where these submarines operate, the U.S. military can now identify them by their acoustic signatures. Even worse for China, the CCP currently lacks the technology to modify the Type 093417's acoustic signature. Enraged by the situation, Xi Jinping personally ordered an investigation into Miao Hua, one of his trusted military officials. So how did the US obtain this intelligence? The incident traces back to late August 2023, when the Type 093417 was conducting vertical launch and propulsion system drills in the Yellow Sea. The submarine unexpectedly became stuck in an underwater barrier that had been placed by the Chinese military to hinder U.S. vessels. Unable to move, the crew sent out divers equipped with oxygen and acetylene tanks to perform underwater cutting. After completing their task, the divers returned to the submarine and knocked on the hatch to be let in, but there was no response. Realizing something was wrong, one of the divers surfaced and issued an emergency distress signal, prompting a rescue operation. That same day, Lude Media, a Chinese-language news outlet known for leaking insider information about the Chinese government, reported on the incident. Given the outlet's track record of accurate leaks over the past year, the U.S. Department of Defense took the information seriously. The Pentagon then instructed the U.S. Pacific Fleet to deploy low-orbit reconnaissance satellites, communication satellites, and high-altitude surveillance aircraft to monitor the site. They captured the entire process as the submarine was towed back to Liugong Island in a severely compromised state. On February 4, 2025, the situation took another turn for the worse. Another Chinese nuclear submarine, the Type 093B, returned to the Huludao shipyard for repairs. Once again, U.S. intelligence gathered clear images. American analyst Tom Shugart later published satellite photos of the Huludao shipyard, confirming that the 093B was equipped with a vertical launch system featuring 12 missile tubes. The images also verified that the submarine used a pump jet propulsion system. On February 10th, U.S. media cited intelligence sources stating that the adoption of a pump jet propulsion system in the Type 093B submarine indicated efforts to reduce acoustic signatures and enhance underwater performance. Reports also noted that the integration of vertical launch systems (VLS) for multiple cruise missiles in the Type 093A and 093B models marked the first time a Chinese attack submarine had achieved this capability. This information was no secret. Luda Media had already reported on August 30th, 2023, that an improved version of the Type 093 submarine was using a shaftless pump jet propulsion system. At that time, only the US, the UK, and Russia had mastered this cutting-edge technology. While Chinese state media had claimed in 2021 that researcher Ma Wei-ming had developed the system, it had not yet been deployed. However, Luda Media's sources indicated that the system had already been installed on the Type 093 submarine. The report also pointed out that since the technology was stolen, China was struggling with technical issues it could not resolve. The Type 093's vertical launch system was also exposed earlier. On August 25, 2023, Luda Media reported that one of the greatest challenges for nuclear submarines is maintaining stability while launching missiles vertically. This involves overcoming water pressure, rapidly taking in seawater, and counteracting recoil. According to the report, China's solution was based on stolen US technology, acquired by 2 Chinese PhD students studying in the United States. The situation worsened further when Luda Media revealed on September 16, 2023, that China had planned to test a new missile torpedo system, known as the Changying, on the Type 093-417. This weapon, which carries a small tactical nuclear warhead, was designed specifically for targeting US submarines. However, due to the submarine's technical failures, the test never took place. As of now, US surveillance of China's nuclear submarine construction at the Huludao shipyard has been ongoing for over a year, with military reconnaissance satellites capable of capturing details down to the millimeter level. The US military has gained a comprehensive understanding of all submarine operations taking place at the site. Luda Media even published a ground-level photograph of China's nuclear submarine construction at Huludao, clearly showing key components such as the tail fins and propellers. This image was just a single screenshot from a full-length video that revealed even more details of the submarine manufacturing process. However, the outlet chose not to release the complete footage. China has either built or is in the process of constructing a total of 14 Type 093 submarines. Even at the lowest estimated cost of $1 billion per submarine, their total value exceeds $14 billion. Yet all of them have essentially become transparent targets for the US military. More alarmingly, China's defense sector recently uncovered a major espionage case involving the leakage of high-level military technology. A top scientist in China who had been receiving a high state salary and had undergone counter-espionage training was exposed due to a reckless bet during a soccer game. While watching a match with friends, he casually wagered, "If my team wins, you give me 1,000 yuan, and I'll give you a classified 3A level document." His careless remark eventually caught the attention of security agencies, leading to the exposure of an extensive espionage operation. The scientist had been recruited as a spy while on an academic exchange at Moscow Polytechnic University. Local students and his Russian colleagues invited him to sauna gatherings, where he was gradually coerced through financial incentives and honey traps. Russian handlers promised him, as long as you provide intelligence, you will receive higher status and greater financial rewards. Investigators discovered that he had leaked classified information in 3 key technological areas. The first was laser transmission technology, a critical component of modern military communications, including underwater, submarine, and satellite communication systems. This field utilizes advanced laser, X-ray, infrared, and ultraviolet technologies. Reports indicate that the leaked data contained precise frequencies and encryption parameters used in communications between China's submarine fleet and land-based command centers. This information effectively provided the US with a master key to intercept Chinese submarine communications. The second was electromagnetic catapult technology, a core system for China's aircraft carriers. The investigation revealed that the scientist had compressed and stored classified technical documents on a small USB drive attached to his keychain, keeping it ready for handoff to foreign intelligence agents. With this information, US intelligence agencies not only gained insight into China's technological advancements, but also developed countermeasures to neutralize them. The third and most critical leak involved radar-absorbing stealth materials used in China's advanced fighter jets, including the J-20, J-31, and J-35. The stolen data included key details such as material composition, production techniques, and coating thickness. With this knowledge, the US military was able to fine-tune its radar systems, making it easier to detect China's so-called stealth aircraft. The scientist has since been brought back to China, where he is expected to face the harshest legal penalties. However, the damage to China's national defense is irreversible. Some of the Chinese military's most prized technological secrets are now part of US intelligence archives. Amid growing concerns over military intelligence leaks, the Chinese government has continued to escalate its military provocations abroad. These aggressive displays appear to be an attempt to distract from mounting internal instability. At 9:30 a.m. on February 21, 2025, 3 Chinese warships unexpectedly launched live missiles in the strategic waters between Australia and New Zealand. It wasn't until 9:58 that Australian Air Traffic Control learned about the exercise, through a Virgin Australia pilot. The Australian Defence Force didn't receive an official notification until 10:10, a full 40 minutes after the drills had begun. According to widely accepted global protocols, military exercises should be announced 12 to 24 hours in advance. China's delayed notification forced multiple commercial flights over the Tasman Sea to make emergency route adjustments, creating a serious risk to civilian aviation safety. Just 1 day later, on February 22nd, the Chinese fleet conducted a second round of live-fire drills. The fleet consisted of a Type 055 guided missile destroyer, a Type 054A frigate, and a Type 903 replenishment ship. While Chinese state media has promoted the Type 055 as a 10,000-ton destroyer with radar capable of tracking targets 300 kilometers away, internal sources have reported frequent radar malfunctions and unstable weapon systems. A US Navy analyst commented, "The integrated electronic systems on the Type 055 have serious design flaws, especially under high-intensity combat conditions." Over the 2-day exercise, Chinese warships launched a total of 18 missiles. Among them, the YJ-18 is a ship-to-surface cruise missile with a range of 540 kilometers, while the more advanced YJ-21 is a hypersonic glide vehicle, HGV, with a range of up to 1,000 kilometers. However, Western military experts analyzing the missile trajectories noted significant deviations, with accuracy falling well below China's claimed performance levels. In China's online nationalist circles, the Type 055 is often portrayed as a warship capable of taking on an entire aircraft carrier strike group. Some have even claimed that 2 Type 055 destroyers could wipe out an entire nation. Now that Chinese warships have arrived near Australia for drills, some have suggested that Sydney is at risk. However, Chinese military experts have pointed out that the Type 055, as a flagship vessel of the Chinese Navy, is primarily designed for air defense rather than land strikes. Of its 112 vertical launch cells, 80 are dedicated to anti-air missiles. In a conflict with a major military power, the ship would need to be fully loaded with air defense missiles to counter incoming attack. Anti-ship missiles would only be deployed in conflicts with weaker navies like Vietnam or the Philippines. Even China's land attack cruise missiles carried on the Type 055 have warheads weighing less than 100 kilograms. Given this, a fleet consisting of a single Type 055, a Type 054A frigate, and a supply ship does not pose a significant threat to Australia. Moreover, China's Type 055 destroyers lack the protection of carrier-based fighter jets. Against Australia's F-35s, which can take off from land bases, these warships would be at a serious disadvantage. The radars on board can only detect low-flying aircraft within 40 kilometers due to the curvature of the Earth. In actual combat, this range is often reduced to just 20 kilometers. Against stealth aircraft, detection could be limited to just a few kilometers. In such a scenario, if the Type 055 destroyer doesn't take a hit, then what will? Additionally, the Type 055 is built with a relatively thin hull and carries a large amount of onboard ammunition, making it highly vulnerable to internal explosions. A single direct hit could result in the ship's immediate destruction. Striking Australian warships and ground targets would require carrier-based aircraft. The deployment of a few Chinese destroyers and frigates in the region is largely symbolic, with minimal strategic impact. China's military propaganda often exaggerates its capabilities. The Chinese government allows state-backed influencers to spread narratives that portray Chinese weapons as highly versatile and advanced. Outside China, similar claims frequently appear on social media platforms like X, often suggesting that China has unveiled a new cutting-edge weapon. These posts are typically linked to pro-Beijing accounts. While they avoid outright claims of technological superiority, they frequently introduce new weapons to create psychological pressure and intimidate Western audiences. Analysts say such propaganda has little real value and does not translate into battlefield effectiveness. China's military displays in the South Pacific appear to be driven by growing internal anxieties. The latest actions suggest a sense of urgency toward military confrontation. One possible reason is that Russia and the US have reached a deal. On February 18th, former US Secretary of State and National Security Advisor under Donald Trump held a secret meeting in Saudi Arabia with Russian and Saudi officials, including Russia's foreign minister and presidential aide. The meeting reportedly resulted in a series of strategic agreements that could pose significant challenges for Beijing. The exact details of the agreement remain unclear. However, Russia has pledged to supply the US with 2 million tons of high-quality aluminum, a move that appears aimed at boosting US production of warships, fighter jets, tanks, and armored vehicles. This amount of aluminum is equivalent to what is used in 15 Nimitz-class aircraft carriers. The supply could accelerate the localization of US shipbuilding and aircraft manufacturing. Currently, the US faces an annual aluminum shortage of 800,000 to 1 million tons, forcing delays in multiple defense projects. The Pentagon has already ordered the scrapping of old ships to recycle aluminum. Sources in Washington have revealed that the Pentagon plans not only to restart production of Ticonderoga-class cruisers, but also to develop a new class of warships capable of matching China's Type 055 destroyers. Adding to Beijing's concerns, US military planners are reportedly studying China's next-generation Type 057 electromagnetic railgun cruiser and are considering skipping an entire generation in warship development. The first batch of Russian aluminum is expected to be shipped in March. Analysts estimate that US defense manufacturing capacity will recover at an unprecedented pace, with a significant number of advanced warships potentially entering service within 24 to 36 months. This could directly challenge China's naval dominance in the Western Pacific. Beyond aluminum, Russia has also agreed to supply the US with 100 tons of rare earth minerals at prices 45% lower than those offered by China. Rare earth materials are essential for artificial intelligence, semiconductors, and high-tech industries. For the past 2 decades, China has leveraged its monopoly on rare earths to negotiate with the US in the high-tech sector. Now, that advantage appears to be diminishing. In the energy sector, US-Russia cooperation aims to drive down oil prices, reducing industrial energy costs in the US. Combined with lower mineral prices, this shift could free up significant funding for cutting-edge technological research, including hypersonic wind tunnels, advanced materials laboratories, and AI-based tactical systems. Military technology advancements that once took a decade could now materialize within 2 to 3 years with sufficient funding. Within China's military think tanks, a growing concern is circulating. 2025 to 2027 is the last strategic window. The phrase suggests that China is currently at its smallest gap with the US, but once America completes its industrial resurgence and military restructuring, China's chances of competing will shrink dramatically. If Beijing moves quickly while its relationship with Moscow remains intact, Russia may remain neutral in a conflict. However, if China waits too long and tensions rise between the two countries, its chances of success could diminish. While there are signs that Xi Jinping is considering action, he appears hesitant, as the full extent of the US-Russia geopolitical discussions remains unknown.